Hey guys, so I make this type of video every single year, and the title is probably going to be something along the lines of, is SMMA dead? Anyways, it is in my opinion that starting a social media marketing agency in 2022 is probably not the best business model to pursue. And when I say SMMA, I do mean specifically like social media marketing agencies, right? So marketing agencies who market with social media. Now, I feel like I can be kind of objective about this since I've never really sold a course or program to teach SMMA. And it's also evidenced in my content since I've been straying away from like SMMA related content to Klaviyo related content, right? For the past year or so. And in my opinion, this business opportunity vehicle is so beaten to death to the point where I just think there are much better kind of like business models that are more beginner friendly, low barrier to entry with higher earning potential in 2022. And that's not to say, by the way, like service providers who are B2B selling high ticket is dead. I think far from that. It's just when I say SMMA, I literally just mean SMMA. So what is a better model that you should be pursuing is, in my opinion, freelancing, right? I think freelancers actually get such a bad rep because people assume you need to charge less as a freelancer, things along those lines. And I can confidently tell you that last year I was basically what people in the SMMA space call a glorified freelancer. And even then I made more than 90% of people who are agency owners. The reason why I think freelancing going forward into 2022 is actually a better model is because you're essentially selling the shovel in a gold rush, right? I've advised many of my students, actually I've advised everyone who's enrolled into my email marketing course to go down the route of freelancing, and most of them are making a full-time salary basically from just like freelancing remotely for various kind of like small to medium-sized brands. And this is great because, to be honest, it's like it gives them more freedom in terms of time and location. And also most of the people that I reach with my channel are like under the ages of 24. So, you know, a full-time salary for a regular person is actually already about double a full-time salary of the average like 20-year-old, right? Because the average 20-year-old is making nothing. In my opinion, it's much better to freelance if you're a complete beginner. Now, the reason why freelancing, in my opinion, is better than agency is because there's a couple problems that are pretty big with the agency model, right? And number one being, it's actually decently complex as a business to start. That's why if you look at most kind of like big agencies out there, especially those that exit for, you know, 7, 8, sometimes 9 figures, they all have business partners in them to begin with. And they are started by many co-founders. Reason being is essentially you're juggling 2 full-time jobs in the very beginning, one being fulfillment and then the other being lead generation, sales, and basically just acquisition, right? That's why most big agencies out there start with 2 co-founders, one that manages fulfillment, the other one that manages the acquisition side of things. So you need to wear 2 really big hats. And as a beginner, I can tell you that, you know, you can juggle it a little bit in the beginning, but once you surpass the, let's say, the 10K a month mark, it becomes pretty unmanageable in terms of the workload. By the way, caveat to this, there are single founder agencies that are considered successful. For example, I'm considered successful and I'm a single founder agency, and there are several others as well on YouTube as well. And yeah, they are definitely successful. However, the way they are able to scale, and that's kind of like what I learned mid last year, and then I ended up hiring someone, right, full-time. And it's that basically they promote a full-time employee into a quote-unquote partner position, and they basically play a co-founder role in the agency, taking like a performance-based pay or a profit share, or giving some sort of vested equity or some sort of phantom equity, right? That's the only way to scale past a certain point. And you can argue with me on that, but you know, employees, co-founders, they're basically the same thing depending on the compensation scale, right? And the second biggest problem, that's not really a problem with the agency space, but it's more so a problem with how it's branded as an opportunity vehicle, is the margins in it, right? So I can tell you firsthand, like the margins that you hear online about people running agencies on, you know, 85%, 90%, 70% net margins actually no, people don't even advertise 70%. It's like 80% and up, right? 80% net margins. It's BS, guys. Like, I'm telling you, 80% margins is not possible. And I'll break down the maths on why in a second. Some people claim they have 85% margins. Okay, cool. Two types of margins, right? There's gross margins and there are net margins. Gross margins being variable cost, net margins being total cost. And if anyone claims that their net margins are anything above 70%, they're either offering done with you or do it yourself, or they're just lying, right? So here's the thing. 85% gross margins might be possible, since when it comes to service fulfillment, you generally want to aim for a 9-to-1 ratio. But the thing is, to achieve that, you need to create the systems yourself. You can't rely on an external contractor to bring all of the systems and you just do a bit of sales for them and expect 90% margin. It's just not fair. If you're running done with you and you're claiming 85% net margins, let me tell you why this is not possible. Just by processing, just by taking payment alone, unless you do it through bank wires, right? 3% already goes to the payment processor, which is Stripe. So that brings your margin down to 97%. Next, 10% goes to employees or contractors if you are extremely lucky, okay? If you bring your own systems and you craft it yourself and you basically hire lower skilled people that employ less creativity, which is not going to be the case, by the way, for the beginners out there, right? You want to pay extra for better contractors in the beginning to provide a better service that you can learn from them as well. So 10% to employees if you're super, super lucky and if you have the right systems. And then 1 to 2% on software, right? And great, you're already at 85% margins, right? But wait, right? What about lead gen? What about appointment setting? What about sales reps, right? If you want to run an agency that is consistently doing 100K a month or more, guess what? You're gonna need sales reps. You're not gonna be able to take all of those appointments by yourself. Sales reps at good agencies, they always are on performance compensation, which is another 10% commissions plus a smaller base, right? So where the fuck is this 85% net margin coming from? I don't know. I really, really don't, because I've been in a privileged position where agency owners, by virtue of me being on YouTube, have reached out to me just for networking purposes or just to get to know me, and a lot of them are doing much, much better than me. I'm talking like over 100K a month, right? And I know what their net margins are, and none of them are above 60% if they are offering done with you. So I don't know how the fuck people run 85% net margin agencies. I just think it's BS. Prove me wrong, right? So rant over. I hope you understand why, in my opinion, now offering a social media marketing based agency service is pretty dead. Now, earlier I said freelancing is a much better model to pursue. And in my opinion, the reason why is just because it's so much easier to be making 5 to 20K a month as a freelancer compared to an agency, because as a freelancer, to make that, you basically just need to hold down 3 to 7 part-time jobs, and I'm talking very part-time, I'm talking like 10 hours a week. And each of those jobs, by the way, each of those part-time jobs, you're basically being paid a full salary in each, which is why it's so easy to be making 5 to 20K, right? Let's just break down the maths. Let's say on average you work 40 hours a week, which is not unreasonable at all. You're able to take on 10 clients that are, 10 hours a week each, then you're basically at 4x normal salaries. And if it's 4x normal salaries, let's say worst case, right? Like they pay you $2,500 a month. That's $2,500 a month times 4. That's 10,000 a month, 120K a year, right? Boom. That's how you get your 6-figure salary. And this would basically include, 3% Stripe fees, and then, 2%, 2% goes to software, worst case, right? And you're all money for you, right? Maybe you invest another 10%. Okay, cool. There is actually, right, your 90% margin agency. Okay. And to give you an example of why, in my opinion, freelancing is better, right? So, and this is actually reflected in my own journey as well. 2020, I had one contractor and me, and I was doing Facebook ads. Together, we made $90,000 in profit. And especially in the beginning, like this was good money, by the way, especially for a complete beginner in their first year of business. But I felt pretty guilty because I didn't really know what my core value add was besides getting the clients and then just passing them to the contractor, right? It was great money. I felt guilty. And what happened was towards the end of the year, my contractor was headhunted and he left the agency. And basically that just cut my agency off at its knees, right? 2021, I decided to pivot to email agency where I knew how to do the fulfillment myself because I had learned it in 2020 and I was actually already really good at it. I started refining the craft, and in 2020, my team was basically one full-time employee, myself, and then 2 contractors. One is basically a full-time contractor, the other one is very part-time, and together we made $209,000 in profit. So basically over double what I did in 2020. This was great money, right? In my opinion, just because, you know, I'm 22, 209K, like, I don't know what I would even do with that money, right? But more importantly, it was great money, but more importantly, I felt valued because I knew exactly what my fucking value add was. And the thing is, I really hate this because basically in the space, a lot of people throw shade at people who are, essentially they call small agencies like, oh, glorified freelancers. Okay, cool. I'm a glorified freelancer in 2021. I'm very proud to say it. And do you know why? Because I made 2 times, 3 times, 4 times more than the average agency owner out. Believe me, I made more. Here's why, in my opinion, is better. You learn a monetizable skill, and more importantly, you have very high conviction when selling. Like when I'm closing deals now, I just know how much fucking money I can make clients. I know that. In 2020, we did like over 10 million in revenue for clients without spending anything on ads for them or influencers, right? So I have conviction when selling, and nowadays I'm super proud to say it. In 2021, I was a glorified freelancer. And in 2022, I'm gonna try to transition into an agency again, but this time an actual agency. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this rant. As always, I hope you guys are gonna do well in 2022 and you guys are gonna hit your goals. If you're new to this channel, subscribe if you like my type of content. And if you don't, then, you know, thanks for watching anyways. Have a good one.